would this third chapter had been a Leia story, given that she is very much at the center of really everything in terms of relationships and her role within the Resistance, would she have been kind of the front role player in this role?
I'm sure that had Carrie been around, and it's still, it's still heartbreaking that she's not, and I adored her, and I had known her for a while, a little bit for a long time before we worked together in Force Awakens, and she was just, no one was like Carrie. I mean, she was just the best. There was no way, as I've said before, to tell the story without Leia. She's too important. It's the Skywalker Saga. She is the living, Skywalker in our story. There's no way. You can't, you don't want to start the story and say something happened to her in between movies. It didn't feel right. We'd never recast it. A digital Leia wouldn't work. There was no way to do it. And then when we looked at the footage from Force Awakens, which I was obviously very familiar with, and realized we had a number of scenes we could use and write scenes around, it was suddenly like, oh my God, we could tell this story with Leia in the film. And clearly we would have done other things had Carrie been around. But I will say, despite her not being with us anymore, her presence in the movie is not inconsequential. She's not being added in, so that she's in the movie. Mm-hmm. And I would say that her story, her role, the importance of Leia, I would argue is as profound as what you're saying, even though she wasn't here. And obviously we did everything we could with the material that we had, but I would have loved to have done other things too. But I feel lucky that we got to do what we could.
Not only does the story keep evolving because stories keep being told, but there is kind of a living document aspect in the sense that, McClunky is kind of a more recent example of it. I'm curious if in 20 years, this is a trilogy that you might be interested in revisiting and kind of retooling it all.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
It just doesn't, I respect, anyone who feels like they want to go back and adjust and add. I get that. But I also feel like, it's not the way I think about projects, which is to say I feel like you're done with a thing and that's what it is. Maybe in 20 years I'll feel different, but I can't imagine feeling different about it.